Welcome back to the Torque Test channel. Amazon wannabe tools that take real power tool name brand batteries. Well, to be fair, there's nothing fake about the tools themselves. Going to go spinny after all, but what I mean is there's an increasing number of power tools on Amazon that now, for example, take M18, DeWalt XR, and Makita batteries that are not Milwaukee, DeWalt, or Makita, which I think is pretty cool, and it allows for potential battery performance upgrades you might already own, which we'll be trying. Overall, we do like to see this trend, and maybe now you can own a cordless glue gun using your DeWalt batteries when DeWalt doesn't offer one. But what about performance on tools that are effectively competing with the brand whose color they are putting on their packaging? We're going to find out today with drills and impact wrenches, from compact to mid-torques to high-torque-ish styles, even buying the same tool twice under different battery hosts to see if there's a difference. So we're going to be answering two questions. Do they stack up to the real deal, and do they at least beat the average Amazon no-name tools on the site? So let's find out. And we bought too many of these things. So in places we're going to skip right to the juicy bits for many of these and focus on the highest numbers they can make for us to save you some time watching and me blabbering. And those models are going to include, well, many ones from Cerakos on Amazon. An Etsy customer asked us if we'd seen these things, and it looks like they offer at least 3 colors for every tool, so we kept adding to cart with curiosity. Red takes M18, yellowish gray takes DeWalt XR, you get the idea. So we're going to go in order of tool size and start off with the Cerakos half-inch compact impact wrench that's compatible with DeWalt 20-volt batteries and costs just $50. A big and probably the main benefit of these tools is that you don't have to buy no-name batteries to work with the tool. So it's just $50 out the door and you're done. They rate this tool at 250 foot-pounds, so we're going to put it up against the other $200 plus models from Milwaukee with their 250 foot-pound compact, as well as the DCF 921, the most powerful uber compact impact we've tested, which is also one that uses the same battery. Here it is in our best case scenario test, getting right into it. And yeah, gonna save you some time on this one. It's terrible. I don't mean it could be better. I mean, we've had knockoffs from wish.com do significantly better than this tool. It's gonna make 122 foot-pounds here, which is essentially relegating it to e-waste. Some better options coming up, I promise, but not this in M18 DeWalt any form that they sell it. This is how easily you can loosen what the tool just did. Now you could say, well, this has a 1/4 inch hex collet, so maybe it's an impact driver as well then, but even then it'd be near the bottom of our rankings for an impact driver. Do not pass go, do not collect $200, no thank you. On the other side of things, taking Makita batteries, we have a CC, their latest compact impact, an Amazon brand no stranger to our channel since we keep buying them for some reason, just always chasing the high of when their cordless mid-torques are actually shockingly good. We bought this one, we've not tested before because it's the same length as it turns out as the Cerakos. And while taking Makita LXT batteries, it is sold in a kit with their own charger for about 75 to 80 bucks. It's not criminal in price. Let's see. The CC, sometimes great, sometimes not worth your time brand. $272. Nice. It's no slouch in beating Team Red here. It's worth mentioning this was with a Makita 5 amp hour battery, since that's sort of what we're doing today, seeing how other tools perform with real batteries. The CC, however, does come with its own 4 amp hour battery, and these typically are not as good nor last as long as Makita batteries. But even then, I mean, it's somewhat on par with an M18 here. Not terrible. This is definitely one of CC's best products. Will it break free 479 foot-pounds? Abso-frickin-lutely not. We find it won't break free 350 like a DCF 921 can, but just look at its forward working torque run. It's mixing things up with the DeWalt here. Overall, the top 1 or 2 compacts off of Amazon we've tested, and a real big difference from that Cerakos. But Cerakos isn't done. We'll keep things going to drills, cordless hammer drills. This is the M18 flavor Amazon guy, and it's $60. Similar proportions, I suppose, and has a metal chuck, though it does feel like the bare minimum on that front. Let's see how it does. At 792 advertised inch-pounds of torque, it's not claiming to beat the M18 2904's 1400 by any means, even if it is trying to soak up sales from M18 customers. But we've tested a lot of Amazon namey type drills before, so we're going to put up the average values on screen from those to see where this thing sits. When it comes to watts out, like a simple comparable power output measurement between tools, the Amazon M18 battery taking drill makes 320 watts. Better than average. It may be just into that arena we would consider useful as well, but when we're talking raw torque, and we use a literal brake dyno for that, with an automated motor that slowly applies pressure to the disc until the drill is stalled and pounds a foot away are measured. The low budget hopeful makes 15.7 foot-pounds here. The Milwaukee is a torque monster after all, but clearly some gap between models being made clear here. But one of the benefits of using these tools is a quick upgrade in the form of a punchy battery is on the table. Not that you should buy one of these expensive batteries to complement your low dollar new tool, just saying it's a new possibility for Amazon tools. And that looks like here 16.6 foot-pounds now. Not a huge difference, and the Milwaukee has picked up even more of a gap now using a high performance battery. Overall, I'd say it works. I'd probably reach for my DCK before one of these, even with the non-matching batteries given its performance difference, but hey, that's me. Moving right along into mid-torque impacts, the M18 taking example is rated for 600 foot-pounds here, similar to the Milwaukee mid-torque, but it is longer, bigger overall. Partly because Milwaukee is the shortest in its field, and partly because most Amazon tools are larger than most name brand tools. This was $90 in place of paying about $210 retail. Let's see how she do. $436 foot-pounds, that's not too shabby for its size, but fairly close to its intended target nonetheless. Let's see if some spicier servings of electricity make any waves. The Milwaukee 2962 mid-torque with a forged battery, I don't believe we've shown this on the channel before, just sitting in a folder here. It makes 485 foot-pounds with that one. The needle doesn't move a whole lot on this tool based on battery selection, which is not always a bad thing. Now this is where things get a bit more interesting, I feel. The forge on the Amazon tool forges ahead to make a bigger gap in performance. Not necessarily a credit to the tool to need to have more discharge amps on tap and less voltage sag to perform to what it can ultimately do, but that does now put it up there with the best Milwaukee can do in this category with any battery, which is, yeah, it's pretty cool for something out of the blue for us considering we tested that compact first. Now high torques, they're going to be even more of an oddball. Switch over from the mid to the high torque here, okay, $90 up to $115 now. And the DeWalt XR taking model is even more expensive for some reason at $120. Okay, but yeah, everything checks out. New high torque name, increase in price, torque, size, except for that last part. These look a lot like mid torques, smaller than the shortest high torque on the market, the new Milwaukee Gen 3 in any dimension smaller really. And certainly smaller than the high torque DeWalt. In fact, despite being a bit more bulbous at the front and weighing a half-pound more, this is actually shorter than the mid-torque we just tested, 6.97 inches compared to 7.15 inches. Strange stuff. I have a sneaking suspicion these models aren't all made under the same roof, so there may not be a lot of cohesive strategy here, but let's test these things. We bought both models to be able to sort of drag race them, red versus yellow, but like one step removed from a real head-to-head, and we're going to pit these first against the DeWalt DCF 891, the top performing mid-torque on the channel, which matches their size closest for now. Here's the ketchup versus mustard Amazon edition. Unsurprisingly close between the two, but the yellow battery taking one on top. I have a hunch it's because the DeWalt batteries are not as much internally regulated as M18 batteries in a standalone way, but that's not the real story. What's funny is 497, that didn't punch all that much above the cheaper last model Cerakote did, the mid-torque. And yeah, going to pull the curtain up on this one, that all changes with the different battery. DeWalt's 9 amp hour is to this day their best performance battery we feel. And while that does move the needle more than we've ever seen on a mid-torque, or really a high torque as a percentage gain, usually these motors on an impact wrench are not all that taxed and struggling to get by like they might be bogging down on a saw. 602 foot-pounds up from 497, and knocking on the door of the market's #1 mid-torque at the moment. Doesn't seem possible. Well, they did call it a high torque, but still, we thought the tool may have just been breaking in or something to cause that change, but returning to a 5 amp hour XR did the same again. Even more surprising, we see the performance with a 5 amp hour power stack. Well, this did not go well. The tool stopped working, battery stopped working, battery display stopped working. I'd like to blame this on the tool, but the power stack is a bit of a funky one. It's very picky as the battery goes. We've had problems pulling a simple load from it when testing at times. It doesn't like to do anything it isn't expecting to. The tool's tapped into it in a very dumb, positive, negative way that we might do, so it makes sense, and a DeWalt tool did bring it back to life. Okay, and here it is, more odd stuff from the high-ish mid-torque with the forged battery now, the best battery overall that we own in 18 to 20 volt, taking on the yellow line. So we experience this sort of thing as simply 589, a bit less, but when charting the data, we get all this weird performance hump, a boost in the middle that then disappears, and we got this on all 3 tests. This is another thing we've never seen before, this happening right in the middle and then just going away. No real way to rank these tools on our ranking of Amazon kit-only tools in a fair pricing way, but to summarize, this was a waste of time and hopefully saves others from wasting their time and money as well. This we like for a compact. If you don't already own a mid-torque, you'd still need one, but if you do, it's worth a look, especially for you LXT folks. And this drill, you can do better even from Ryobi, I feel, in a similar-ish price range. This mid-torque was surprisingly not bad to borderline quite good with the right battery, as long as you realize that right battery might cost several times more than the tool, so it isn't worth getting one of those batteries if you don't already own one. The high torque, mid-torque mashup thing is interesting at $115. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The brand DIY Tool Lifes, yeah, seriously, seems to carry the same thing and can oftentimes be found cheaper, like this $85 to $90 version of the DeWalt taking model here. Really, I feel it's sort of encouraging stuff, especially on tools where they're either going to work or not, and you're not trying to squeeze a lot of performance out of them in daily use. If you use these to make a living, maybe not, I don't think so, but some of you guys ask us why we even bother testing no-name tools like these, from Wish and Alibaba included, and a bit of it is that not everyone needs a $250 tool to quickly rotate their tires or change their brakes at home, and well, most of it is we just really get a kick out of finding diamonds in the rough. Aladdin would have been a much more boring character if he started out as a sultan and then got that lamp. Finding tools that surpass our expectations is just fun, and when they're terrible, honestly, that's pretty fun too.
No. Just don't do it. No.
We like to have fun around here every Friday. Click subscribe if you want to join the bromance, and thanks for watching.